What's up? So the power of social media shows itself yet again. As you can see here, 3.2 thousand likes, 174,000 views from Mick O'Keefe here. Very important, because the apparatus are not going to show you this. You're not going to see this in RT, you're not going to see it on Virgin Media, you're not going to see it on these places, because they want to suppress this. They don't want you to know that people like Philip Sutcliffe exist. They don't want you to know he's a councillor. They don't want you to know that there are people within that council trying to shout him down when he's telling the truth. Because anybody that's walked through O'Connell Street recently, and indeed Dublin City Centre, they understand exactly what he's talking about here in this video, which we'll show. Don't forget as well too, Philip Sutcliffe has a connection to Conor McGregor, and the apparatus is terrified of Conor McGregor. They're terrified of him running for president because he has money, power, influence and high connections. I mean, he has a connection now to Dana White, who is now connected to Elon Musk, who is now connected to Joe Rogan, who is also connected to Donald Trump at this stage of the game. So the apparatus realises what's going on, and it's trying to defend itself, and it will try to suppress as much as possible, whilst at the same time it does ridiculous things, like you'll see in the video down below, where they have weaponised the Gardaí to force foreigners into areas that don't want them and that can have them, and they're mainly dudes that are being forced into these areas. Seems like they're being forced into strategic points around this country. Almost seems like that, doesn't it? Very strange. But anyway, let's have a look at what Philip Sutcliffe says here. Absolute dynamite here. The gloves are off, pardon the pun. Let's have a look.
And let's talk why Dublin is not safe. There's so many immigrants on the streets selling drugs. You walk down O'Connell Street today, it's spotted dub. You walk down Dorset Street, spotted dub, right? And it's the truth. I walked through O'Connell Street the other night, 6 and 7 coloured guys at a machine, right?
Okay, hold on, calm down.
And I'm not afraid. Excuse me, I didn't interrupt you. Excuse me.
I'll
Okay. Excuse me, I'm speaking. I didn't interrupt you. Okay. Right. Also.
Just through the make her point of order. Okay.
Also, right.
Sorry, you should go through the list first.
That is one of the main reasons why Dublin doesn't feel safe, and that's why a lot of people do not come into Dublin.
So there you go, spells it out. They tried to shout him down from telling the truth, and that's it. You know, that's what you have in the regime. The regime is trying to tell you that that's not happening there. It's inappropriate to be pointing out the obvious. The obvious is as clear as the nose is on your face. But what I love about that interaction is how calm and collected Philip Sutcliffe was. I mean, just dealt with them, you know. It's brilliant to see. This one here from Mick O'Keefe as well. Irish women maintaining a 24-hour blockade outside a building designated for migrants were pushed aside by Gardaí in the middle of the night. Minutes later, busloads of male migrants were escorted into the building. A community's social cohesion is destroyed in an instant. So this is exactly what Philip Sutcliffe is talking about. So they can't tell you that this isn't going on. You've experienced this in your area. You understand what's going on. And the apparatus, as I've said beforehand, has weaponised now the Gardaí to do things like this. And these guys that were in uniform, it's going to come to you eventually. It's going to happen in your area where these people are going to be forced into, and you're not going to want them there. But remember the 30 pieces of silver you took to do things like this.
We're not here for a fight.
Guys, we're all people here. We're all people here.
This is so unfair. So unfair. I can't believe you for doing this. Do you know what this is? You know what these are doing to us. Honest to God, you know what these are doing to us. We heart is broken. I swear to God. Can you stop? You're upsetting me as well. This is desperate what these are doing to us. You understand this? You understand what these are letting in here? This whole community. My head is broken.
Guys, understand.
What are you doing? What are you actually doing? Who's paying for the fucking gazebo, you bro? Criminal fucking damage. You don't need to hold the line. We're not going to do it. We're standing here.
People, Jesus, lads. Have you done that for you?
China, I knew this was going to fucking happen tonight.
1, 2, 3, 4, 8 lads.
And this is just a taste of what's to come, because this is an open invasion and plantation of our country, and it's been facilitated here by people in uniform and in government. That's why it's hugely important to take the positions in government off these regime and apparatus figures, because you will then control the pawns here, you will control the glowies. Because these people are doing what they're told for the 30 pieces of silver. They have no care at all, it seems to me, because this is not an isolated incident. These incidents have occurred now around the country, and they have actually, in my view and opinion, have assaulted people with batons, pepper spray, all of the above. And we're talking about water cannons, the whole lot for people. Whilst our borders are being overrun, whilst our airport and our docklands and the border from, well, what was the border from the north of Ireland to the Republic of Ireland is totally unmanned, and people are just coming down from the north of Ireland because they're getting in through Britain, going up through Northern Ireland and coming down here then. And this is the type of tanks that you get as a result. So a lot of people have turned on the Gardaí. They don't respect them. They don't like them at all. Especially when you see so many of them hanging around that are happy to push our own people aside to force migrants into those areas. And then you look at what Philip Sutcliffe is talking about here, about the Dublin city centre, about town, and you hardly ever see them. You might see one or two walking around patrolling the beat, but that's about it. You know what I mean? Otherwise, it's like Gotham City in Dublin city centre now. Like a couple of weeks ago, I happened to be in Dublin city centre, and this is a true story, but there was a fella that was walking around and he literally had his hand in people's faces, and he was begging for money obviously, but he had his hand in people's faces, and I seen him upcoming. I was like, right, I'm having an eye on this guy here now, and I seen him, I'd say, about 20 seconds before he was within touching distance of me. So I was watching him, and as I was walking down then, I says, I bet you now your man will turn to me. And he turned around and he had the hand out, and I said to him, get your hand down my face now. And he looked at me, he did, and he says, oh, money. And I says to him, I'm not giving you anything. So I says, where are you from? And he says, I'm from Syria. He wasn't from Syria. I can absolutely 100% confirm that with you, because he gold teeth in his head he had, and you know yourself when it comes to that. So I turned around and I says to him, well, do you know what you'd be better off doing? I says, you'd be better off pawning that gold tooth in your head. And I says, and if you're from Syria, I says, you should fuck off back home, I said, and beg there instead of here in my country. He just looked at me, he did, and I walked on me merry way, I did. But that's the sort of stuff that's going on, and that's not being policed at all. They're not moving guys like that on. He's harassing me on my street, in my country, in my city. You know what I'm saying? This is what's going on. Meanwhile, you see the glowies down below that are happy to push people aside, their own people, to shove these guys into the area. It's absolutely outrageous. And the likes of Phil Sutcliffe there, for example, is 100% spot on with what he's saying. You know, we hear about all of the criminality that's going on here now in this country. It's a migrant crime wave. We had crime, absolutely, of course, here in this country beforehand, but not at the levels that it's at now. It's absolutely out. It's out the door at this stage of the game. I think even recently, over the last couple of days, their court was like, they've never seen so many Brazilians in court in their entire lives for being up to no good. Like, it's this is the sort of stuff. The Black Axe Gang now operate within Ireland. Now, the Black Axe Gang, for anybody that doesn't know, that's a Nigerian gang. So they're a black, obviously, as Phil Sutcliffe is talking about, he's alluding to here, coloured guys. But they are a black gang. The Black Axe Gang from Nigeria. Recently, and this is going back, I think, in around between January to March. I'll get the dates and I'll do a video on it anyway. But these are a gang that kidnapped over 200 children and were ransoming them. And the Nigerian government were like, not going to pay you. This is legitimately what's going on and what's now operating within Ireland. People don't understand or know this. And there's Georgian gangs here now as well. Those guys, I mean, if you think we had gangsters here in Ireland, and listen to me when I tell you this, we certainly did. But these guys haven't a patch on the likes of the Georgians and the Albanians that are operating here. Like, these guys are on different levels. You know what I mean? And this is what we're now seeing in our country and what's languishing around our country and what's getting involved. So Phil Sutcliffe is absolutely 100% correct with what he's saying, and I hope that he continues to say it. And these are the type of people that we need to be electing. Anybody that you see that's been called a racist or a bigot or an Istaphobe or something like that by anybody on the left hand side, that is a person you should be looking at and going, give them a vote. Because here's the thing, they're ultimately looking out for our own people. And that's why the left hate them so much. That's why the left are trying to shout over Phil Sutcliffe here in this. They're trying to throw him off his game. They're trying to stop him from saying what he needs to say and what needs to be heard, more importantly. Because we all know these things intrinsically, but it's whether our people hear them or not. From one side, you're hearing this is great, we should shove as many people into the country as possible, whereas at the same time these people are saying there's no housing. Work that one out. How can you keep filling up a container and the container's overflowing at this stage and you want to add more to it? Doesn't make sense. Sure it doesn't. So that's why having people in this country that have absconded from other places, these are not doctors, engineers or scientists or anything that are arriving into this place. These are like people that are low skill, low level. We don't need that. It's no interest. So a big effort needs to be put into remigration. It needs to be put into deportations. Seriously. Because that's the way that we turn this around. Dublin city centre right now, and I'm telling you this now, is just the taste of it. It's the tip of the iceberg, because this is going to be happening in your local towns. So people that live in the likes of Wexford or Carlow or Kilkenny, you might laugh and think it's not coming to you. It is, very soon, because this is the type of operation that we're seeing here in this country now, and it's just going to spread out like an infectious disease. So you keep electing people like Phil Sutcliffe, including him as well, fair play to the people that have elected him, or you keep burying your head in the sand, pretend nothing's wrong, electing people that have been in power for a very long time. And I'm talking about the Unit Party as well. I'm talking about Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael, Sinn Féin, Green Party, Labour Party, Soc Dems, People Before Profit, whatever it might be, whoever's currently in the doll, they're all in on it, okay? People that are on the outside, that are looking to get in now, these are the people that are looking to turn the wheel the other way and reverse an awful lot what's gone on to make Ireland great again, is what I would say. So anyway, let me know what you think in the comments down below. I always love hearing from the people that comment. You know, everyone, it seems to me that a lot of people are hungry for Ireland to be great again and are hungry for Ireland to return to where it was, rather than this hellscape that it currently is and that it will plan out to be if these people and this apparatus and regime has its way. Make sure you like and make sure you subscribe to the channel. Always appreciate that, and I'll talk to you later. Good luck.